Next on Worcester News Tonight, after decades in city politics, Constantina Lukes announces she'll be stepping down from the city council. We sit down with her tonight. Plus, ArtsWorcester holds the grand opening of its new location in the city. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. We begin tonight with the Worcester Redevelopment Authority voting to acquire all of the additional properties needed for the Canal District Ballpark project. According to the city, the vote exempted the former Wyman Gordon properties, which are part of the project. The move is subject to the approval of the state's Department of Housing and Community Development. The acquired properties include 62, 69, and 90 Washington Street, as well as a portion of 2 Plymouth Street. The WRA says acquiring the properties needed for the construction of the ballpark is the first critical step. They say they're now on track to own all of the properties needed for the $240 million development. Councillor Constantina Lukes announces she will be ending her tenure on the Worcester City Council when her current term is up. The Democrat has held a seat for nearly 30 years, and her political career has spanned 4 decades. Tonight, she says she's happy with what she's accomplished. Our Cam Jandro sat down with her and has more. Cam?
Anna, Luke says she's going to miss being on the city council, but she's proud with how long she has served the city of Worcester. However, she says next year it's going to be weird when it's 6:30 on a Tuesday night and she's not here at Worcester City Hall.
Constantina Lukes has been a member of the Worcester City Council since 1990. The veteran Democrat announced this week she will not seek re-election.
I think that I have done all that I can do, and it's time for someone else to take over.
Lukes won her first election in 1979, earning a seat on the school committee. The 77-year-old is currently serving her 15th term on the council and was the city's mayor from 2007 to 2009.
I've been there longer than anyone else. I was the first woman elected as mayor by popular vote, so I was able to achieve a lot of goals that normally aren't able to be achieved.
Current Mayor Joe Petty has served alongside Lukes for more than 2 decades. He says whether they would agree or disagree, he will always respect her.
Her heart was always with the people of Worcester. It is our interest in the sense that she won't be there after 22 years. That when you're talking issues, you expect we can probably read each other's mind before we speak.
Lukes points to other priorities and family life as reasons for stepping down later this year. But when discussing her future, she is not closing the door on politics just yet.
And they think I'm joking. Well, there's no reason, with my experience and age and wisdom, I shouldn't develop my own exploratory committee for President of the United States. Why stop now?
Now, Luke says one of the things she's most proud of is the fact that she used to take on issues that may have been uncomfortable for some other people. One of the interesting things is right now, she's the only incumbent not running for re-election, so there will be an open spot on the Worcester City Council come election season. Live in Worcester City Hall tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
A jury is chosen and testimony is set to begin Monday in the trial of a Blackstone man charged with murdering his 83-year-old father. Glenn Armstrong was indicted of first degree in the 2017 death of his father, Walter Armstrong. Armstrong was arrested in New Jersey the day after his father was found dead inside his home. Armstrong allegedly drove his father's truck there. The Educational Association of Worcester brings concerns of mold in a Worcester public school to the school committee tonight. They say the administration will not allow further testing, but they want to change. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
The Educational Association of Worcester believes there is mold inside of Columbus Park Preparatory Academy. The union says employees are complaining of feeling ill.
There's obvious evidence of an unhealthy environment as far as leaky pipes.
President Roger Nugent has filed a complaint with the state against the school district. He alleges they denied access to test for mold inside the school.
It's reasonable to ask the educators to give 100% every day because every kid deserves that. But I think at the same time, every educator deserves the opportunity to go into a safe and healthy environment to do their work.
The EAW conducted a survey with 30 employees. 65% said there is visible mold. 87% noticed moisture or leaks in their work area, and 83% said the school has a moldy smell.
I was over there one day and my eyes were burning in one end of the building.
The school department says in a statement, "We haven't denied EAW access to test for mold at Columbus Park. We are consulting the Massachusetts Department of Public Health on proper mold testing methods before we grant access." Parents we spoke to say they had no idea any of this was going on and say they are concerned if there is mold at the school.
It's going to start getting hot and humid. The mold spores are going to grow, they're going to release. Kids are here to learn, not to get sick. I mean, they already get exposed to every virus that gets brought in.
We need to know what's going on inside.
Nugent says they are looking to do air quality testing as well as wipe sampling and says they aren't backing down.
Our members' working conditions are the students' learning conditions, and that's just not just a slogan. That's very true, telling if you think about it.
The EAW will ask the school committee tonight at its meeting to allow for the testing. They are also applying the Federal Environmental Protection Agency standards for mold testing. In Worcester, Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Entrepreneurs in Worcester are given the chance to get their companies up and running through Startup Worcester. The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, along with the Venture Forum and Worcester Clean Tech Incubator, picked 12 companies as part of this year's cohort. The competitive program is in its 5th year. It provides support as well as space for entrepreneurs. The Chamber says it's supportive of startup companies and says communities with large startup incubators and co-working spaces usually attract other companies.
Purposely working at the Chamber with partners to kind of grow that startup community and support it with the idea that some of these companies grow themselves and become big companies. We've seen that with several companies that are part of the Startup Worcester program that have grown, but we also know other companies in that space are watching.
Ryan Canuel is CEO and founder of Petrichor, a game development company in Worcester. He was in the first startup cohort. He says they didn't know where they were going to settle until this opportunity came along.
They were able to give us space, mentorship, access to a bunch of other resources, which was huge when we were first starting and we didn't really have anything. So we started with literally $0 in our bank account, and we've done since then over $1 million in business for customers. That's been over about 4 years.
Canuel says the mentors and networking he's gained through this startup program has been vital to his company's success. The Auburn High School Athletic Department has been a part of a remarkable program over the last 4 years. Through the Unified Sports Program, the Auburn High community has come together to support athletes who may not have the opportunity to compete on other teams. Auburn senior Tim Tran has been a part of the program over the last 4 years and says it makes him feel like he's living the dream.
No idea what it was. No idea. And I first stepped in for the next 3 weeks. I'm like, hey, I could be doing this within my 4 years of high school. I'm like, I'm loving this. I'm living a dream, and here I am today, 4 years later.
Auburn has seen the number of athletes and volunteers increase each year. Principal Casey Hanfield says the amount of participation makes him proud to know students are doing good things in a time where kids are facing so many distractions.
It assures me as a building principal that in today's world, where there's a lot of things going on that are not so great, that something so wonderful is happening right beneath our feet.
Tonight was the final Unified Sports track meet this year, but Auburn and Northbridge are excited to compete next year. The state's Attorney General's office is suing a Shrewsbury man. They say he had a contractor illegally demolish a backyard shed containing dynamite. The demolition caused a fire and explosion in 2017. The AEG's office says it released hazardous materials and fumes into the air and soil. The complaint alleges Edgar Muntz instructed P&M Asphalt Services of Sutton to illegally demolish a shed on his Shrewsbury property. The shed contained dynamite, mercury, arsenic, chloroform, and sodium cyanide. The AG says the release of the dangerous toxins caused workers and a resident to develop respiratory problems. For the past several years, the Baker-Polito administration has been working to increase economic development across the state and in central Massachusetts. Today, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito visited the city to highlight some of the biggest changes we've seen. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
A great place to work, a great place to live. Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito talks business at the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. She says she uses Worcester's recent economic growth as a model other cities and towns should follow.
I use the Worcester area in central Massachusetts as Exhibit A when I think about community development, and I try to help other communities develop the leadership team, develop their plans.
The Lieutenant Governor highlighted the accomplishments the Baker-Polito administration has made in their first term, like Main Street construction funding and improved MBTA performance. She says a big focus over their next 4 years is necessary for Worcester.
Governor Baker and I and our team really value housing as an economic development driver, as well as an ability to stabilize and plan for the future of a community.
The administration has a proposal called the Housing Choice Initiative. It would allow local officials to create more units of housing through a simple majority vote instead of a 2/3 vote.
If we can change that to a simple majority vote, more communities will be able to adopt zoning measures that will create more units of housing.
As density and the population grows, it's important we have a range of housing, and the housing study that we're going to roll out in October will show best practices and strategies on how regionally we can create more housing.
Polito says the benefits of improving housing in Worcester will expand to all sectors of the economy.
More competitive in a Commonwealth that provides more options for people to have a good, affordable lifestyle here. More people are really seeing the promise of Worcester.
Polito says their goal is to create 17,000 new housing units in the state each year through 2025. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
After 40 years, ArtsWorcester has a new home at the Printers Building on Portland Street. The grand opening featured its longest-standing tradition, the 18th ArtsWorcester Biennial. There were 440 submissions, and a juror selected 71 to be put on display. Executive Director Juliet Feibel says this new building is the perfect location for the galleries.
The Printers Building has become a one-building arts district. Every tenant in this building is in some way dedicated to the arts, to creativity, or innovation in some really important way.
The gallery is free and open to the public, Tuesday through Thursday 12 to 5, Friday and Saturday from 12 to 7. Celebrating healthy family nutrition, the Family Health Center of Worcester hosts its first WIC Day. The Family Health Center of Worcester runs the WIC program in the greater Worcester area. WIC is the Women, Infant, and Children program offering supplemental nutrition, healthcare referrals, and nutrition education to many women. Today's event included things like food demonstrations, children's gardening activities, and prize drawings. The Family Health Center of Worcester says their goal is to improve the health and well-being of residents in the area.
Diverse community, and sometimes we give out the food like brown rice. Some of the family doesn't know what to use with that, so that today we display the WIC food and how give them some idea about the recipe and everything.
There are 16 family health centers throughout Worcester County, including 5 WIC locations.